If I go fast instead of slowly, instead of last, if my father survives me, if I explode, if I go up in smoke, if I go quietly, when I go quiet, give my heart to my mother. She'll know what to do. Give my songs to my lover. She'll know what to do. Give my bones to my father. My poems to my sister. My love to one another. Give it all to each other. And I suppose the soul can go to the children. I suppose the trash can go to the museum. I suppose the dreams can go in the casket. I suppose the blood will go where you ask it. Will go where you ask it. Will spill where you ask it. Will spill where you ask. I'll spill where you ask. I'll spill where you ask. I'll spill. I'll spill. I'll spill. I'll spill. I was once the tree, and I was the paper. I was the hair, and I was the razor. I was the leg, I was the table. I was the cloth, and I was the indigo. And I was the indigo, and I was the indigo, and I was the indigo, and I was a color girl, 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 and I was a color girl. It's the blue light. college parties, college drinking, all you outcasts gather round. Roll a fat one, pour the shots, give this death all you've got. Let the liquor loose in your mouth, make a bow with friendly tongues. Call your lover, say you're sorry, then go back to making fun. Your friends are drunk and useless. Welcome to senior year. The night is young and ruthless, and you want to disappear in the hallway, in the hall, in the hallway, in the hall. You can hear them all around you, broken hearts and blushing sighs. Truth's a hard pill to swallow.
Life is pain. Oblivion alone yields peace. You call me stranger. I call myself salvation.
The love of a god is not a blessing, it's a scar.
How can I be the paragon of Mahu if I don't even know who I am?
There's gotta be more to life than making mistakes and making up for your mistakes.
I'm the paragon of risk and reward, behaving as more of a suggestion.
Fate is an offer I intend to reject.
You don't know me. I'm unpredictable, bitch.
I don't need to be a paragon to help save the world.
I came back for a reason, and I am not stopping until I find it.
I will solve the cataclysm, and I'll solve the mystery of myself, too. 4 paragons, 4 keepers, 1 stranger. Huh. Odds are in our favor. Now let's go save Andake.
Content warnings for this episode include fantasy violence, monsters and monstrosity, death, apocalypse, trauma, complex and complicated relationships, flirting and romance, references to sexual entanglements, and familial conflict.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Arc 5, episode 16. This is the final episode of Arc 5. What? Mind's blown, the grand finale of this arc, following 2 different parties. Thank you so much for hanging out in chat as we round out this incredible, chaotic, earth-shattering, hell-raising arc that it's been quite a journey. I am your GM and creative producer, Connie. My pronouns are they, he, and she. You can find me on TikTok, Twitter, and Itch, where you can buy my games at By Connie Chong. That's BYCONNIECHANG. I'm going to pass along introductions for the final time in this constellation of players for this particular arc. Over to Erica.
For a moment, I had a fear of like, oh my god, for the last time, this is the last episode? Oh no. Hi, everybody, I'm an Erica. I am Erica, she, her pronouns, and I play V. I'm a goddess, I've got dragon wings, Noxurzo, and you can find me at Erica New Girl, everywhere I exist on the internet. I'm a Twitch streamer, I do things, I say things that I regret later. Come, enjoy the chaos that is my stream. I will pass it on to Max.
Hello, I'm a Max. My pronouns are they, them. And you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok at Starchmonger. I'm more active on there, I swear. That's awesome.
I'm Austin. I'm muted before I started talking this time. Ha 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 ha. My pronouns are he, they, she. I play Abiku Ishtar. You can find me on Twitter at Sailors Austin. It's at Sailor SCT Austin.
This is our incredible Kirtal party. Everyone in chat, just give us some hype. This is the final episode. We're so excited to share it with you. And we are also, as always, so excited to share. If you're new here, what are you doing here in the finale? Well, we're so happy to have you. We are Transplanar RPG. We are an odd transgender BIMPOC-led D&D show set in an original non-colonial anti-orientalist world called Andake, which is also a grim, dark, gritty fantasy setting. So if you like queer drama, queer chaos, queer romance, horrifying monsters and abominations, and lots of gay kissing, then this is the show for you. We stream Saturdays at 5 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. We are also very proud to announce that our main campaign that you're watching, The Second Stranger, is indeed sponsored by @DimitriOpines on Twitter. That is DmitryOpines on Twitter, and his company Explain Trade, which is a negotiation skills training consultancy believing in the power of D&D and Transplanar's potential to grow, tell great stories, and lift up our community. Go check them out at explaintrade.com to level up your charisma score. And if you're just intrigued by what that means, give them a follow. Go click on their website and boost up their views, my good Transplanar friends. Speaking of boosting up our views and perhaps some listens, Austin, would you like to tell folks about our podcast?
I can tell folks about the podcast. Our podcast episodes release every Tuesday at the crack of dawn, and we are in Arc 3, baby, and it's carnival time. Check out everyone's favorite murder bard and leave us a 5-star rating on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, wherever you pod your cast. You can ask the bird outside your window that won't leave. It probably will not play a podcast, but you should probably talk to it. It's not going away. As a reminder, patrons get early access to podcast episodes and no birds outside their window, and all bonus content, plus art booklets, monthly gaming nights, and monthly cast Q&As. And there's some very special patrons that are getting a very special message from Connie right now.
Tweet, it's the bird Austin's threatening you with, here to thank our Patreon paragons. These are patrons pledged to the highest tier on our Patreon. Y'all are rock stars, and we love you so much. Mwah! Big wet kiss from me to you. A big thank you to Abigail Reitel, Azra, Bradley, Brooke Bright, Charles, Chiacres, Cora Eckert, Hat MP, Lex Slater, Marvelous, Mitzi, Moonflower Tea, Purple Mouse, Risa, Rue, Scruffusus, and Target. Mwah! We love you. And as always, a dedication haiku for you all that I wrote about this session in honor of our paragons. Read the syllables and count with me. The last episode. What big lore drops will I share? Can Dewey arise? Can Dewey arise? Perhaps, maybe we'll find that out later. Erica, tell us about how people can throw more money at us.
Yes, what if the only way to get Dewey to arise was to hit certain donation goals and incentives that we have for the stream? That's not what we're going to do, but we still do have the donation goals and incentives. So donos are going towards super fun bonus scenes, playlist drops, and more. So you can use command donate at any time in chat to support our all-trans, person-of-color-led cast and keep the chaotic queer content alive. And now, Max, could you please remind Grandma Erica what we're doing right now? What happened?
What did happen indeed? If you find yourself asking that question every episode, you can get to our recap by going to bit.ly/transrecap or by using the exclamation point recap command in the chat. It's updated every week. Follow along with our chaotic queer content. Here is what happened last time. The team fights the hunter and its hound, and this time they're ready for it. V lights the thing up with magic. Abiku discovers the dog's weakness. It's got a distance limit. Dewey has another encounter with Galtanger, who's less unconvinced now that he's less cowardly. He offers her the god jar again, and she seemingly accepts until the thing explodes. And now for today's episode. Titles of our episodes come from poems and songs from queer, trans, and people of color artists. And today's is The Sun is Only a God If You Learn to Starve for Her, from the poem I'm Going Back to Minnesota Where Sadness Makes Sense by Danae Smith. The full verse reads, Don't you know the sun is only a god if you learn to starve for her? I'm over the ocean. I stand at its lip, dressed in down, praying for snow. I know, I'm strange. Too much light makes me nervous, at least in this land where the trees always bear green. I know something that doesn't die can't be beautiful.
Such a good poem. Check it out. Danae Smith just Google them. But it's a great poem. Thank you so much for reading that, Max. And moving on to content warnings for this arc, for this party, for the last time. In this constellation, content warnings may include fantasy violence, body horror, gore, monsters and monstrosity, death and killing, apocalypse, trauma, complex and complicated relationships, flirting and romance, references to sexual entanglements. So as always, use !CW in chat for a full list of these content warnings at any time to protect yourself, and !safety for a full list of our cast's lines and veils to know what topics are a no-go, no matter how dark things get. So, with that out of the way, let's begin. Sunshine. Breeze. The smell of pine, nettle, pollen. Birdsong, sweet and high, the rasping of leaves, the sensation of warmth. Dewey. Light filters through a tiny crack in your eyelids. You feel earth, dirt, heady and fresh from recent rain pressed against the feathers of your cheek. You see, beyond the crack in your eyelids, a blur of green, brown, gold. You're lying face down in the middle of a forest clearing, all emerald trees and rustling leaves. What do you do?
I think Dewey's hands go to his face to rub his eyes and roll over.
As you roll over, warmth sort of sinks into the feathers, I think, on your shoulders, as you realize a shaft of sunlight is breaking through the swaying canopy above, like causing these dappled shadows to dance across your face, I think. And this shaft of sunlight lands squarely, I think, on your face. Right? Like it gets like right in your eyes.
Dewey lays there for a minute. It feels nice, and it's been a long time since he's had like a moment to rest, I feel like.
I think for maybe a minute, you just lie there, like face up in this like really peaceful, quiet grove that, you know, you have no idea how you're transported here. I think the battle, the hunter, the hound, that's like a distant memory. That doesn't matter right now. It's like beyond a wall of fog, beyond a hazed up mirror. That's from a different world. Here it's just you, the breeze, the birds, and the sunlight. Eventually, Dewey, you hear footsteps. Or, more specifically, hooves. You hear the crackling of twigs underfoot, the feeling of the earth, I think, quaking underneath your body.
He sits up with a start.
You set up maybe a couple leaves that had like landed from the canopy, like on your feathers, like flutter down. You sit up. The blood rushes from your brain. You're a little dizzy for a second, right? Like still blinking the warmth out of your eyes. And when you refocus yourself, you see Karvach Terai emerging from the underbrush directly in front of you, pushing a long, scraggly branch out of her way. And she is exactly how you remember her from the tomb. A tall, proud centaur woman, bare-chested, with a hale body of brown hide and thick legs. You notice as well the black tattoos that are so emblematic of her, winding their way up her arms, up her like chiseled abdomen, like up her sternum, her clavicle, over the shaved sides of her head, all the way up to her scalp, where you see dark hair falling in kind of like a black cascade down her spine, sort of braided into these strict plaits. And a golden bow is strapped to her back, just glowing ambiently.
Karvach, right?
The hooves sort of like come over the dirt toward you as you're just sat there, like maybe still blinking a bit from all the light and the sunspots in your eyes. Karvach like looks down at you, like towers over you, could like trample you easily if she wanted to. But her demeanor when she regards you is almost gentle. She looks down at you and you see her face, which usually looks so stern and warlike, there's a softness that's sort of like curving at the edges, right, of her jawline. We meet again, Paragon. She's ready to be yours. Are you ready to be hers?
Sure, but wait, what are you doing here?
I'm a ghost of an echo of a memory, remember?
I remember. Can I ask you a couple questions before I do the Paragon thing?
Of course. I can sense the doubt, the hesitation that still darkens your soul, and Galtanger doesn't like any part of our Paragon soul to be darkened. And yet, I have empathy for your position. And Karvach kneels down on her front legs until she's kind of level with where you are, right? The humanoid part of her body sort of leaned forward toward you. She folds her hands on top of her two furred legs. Ask.
How did you do it?
I thought about the people I loved. My parents, my village, every single person counting on me. And I said yes.
And you knew you could do it?
No, I didn't. Like we said, back at my tomb. But I knew I had to.
Dewey looks a little bit... he was hoping to be reassured here. And he looks a little bit worried.
I think Karvaj notices that. She untangles one of her hands from the other one folded on her lap and rests these firm, scarred fingers, right? On one of your shoulders. Cardew, you have been chosen by fate to be the paragon of Galtanger. There is no one else that this universe would rather have protect Andake than you. You can count on yourself, and you can count on your friends. I would not have been able to do what I was able to do without the other paragons. All the soldiers, all the leaders of the 8 realms banded together. That's how we defeated the tyrannical queens, and that's how we did our best against the stranger the first time it came.
They are good people. They are capable.
If you still can't believe in yourself, Cardew, believe in your friends who believe in you.
I'll try.
That's a good start. I think she starts to get up, right? As you're still sat there looking up at her.
Just one more question. What do you make of the fact that the Cardew Karvach thing? Do you think fate did that on purpose, or
what our names?
Yeah, it seems a little. It can't be coincidence, right? Or maybe fate just likes word games. I don't know.
She stares at you blankly, and completely ignoring the question. She goes on to say, "I see you're not taking Sunshot," and her hand goes to the glowing bow strapped to her back.
Sunshot? I wasn't offered.
Because it's not right for you, Cardew. This bow was given to me by Galtanger as a symbol of our bond, a representation, a manifestation of our relationship with each other. I was a skilled archer back in my day. I could thread a needle with my arrows. And Sunshot made sure that even so, I never missed, and I always hit my quarry. But that's not right for you, is it, Cardew?
No, I could barely hit things when my friend tried to teach me with a sword. I don't think I could hit the side of a barn with an arrow if I tried.
Then I think you're making something, then, great inventor. With her. Together, aren't you? Something new. Something that can save you, protect you.
Dewey suddenly looks around. Is for the god jar? It's a very important thing to him, and he's forgotten about it until this moment.
As you look around, your maybe hands going down your patting yourself down reflexively. Your feathered fingers find a object, I think strapped to your waist.
That's weird. I don't usually. I'm very familiar with like the tools I keep around my waist.
Mm-hmm.
What? He pulls it out and looks at it in both of his hands.
As you like turn your head down and like pull at this object and begin to like pull it out in front of you, you feel just almost like a dizzying sensation as like all the whispering leaves and the sunlight and like the trees and the breeze and the smell of pollen begin to just suddenly like fade out, like you're waking up from a dream, right? And like the tendrils of the dream are just like rippling from your consciousness. And the last thing you hear Karvash Turai say before you, Kardu, you wake up is, I guess I'll have to give Sunshot to someone else. And Dewey, you open your eyes. In the blackened battlefield, in the obsidian wetted wasteland, pockmarked with craters, dead grass with their souls and moisture sucked out from the huge, I think, desiccating feet and paws of the hunter and the hound, amidst this vast plain in the middle of Kirtal, in the Oguma River Valley, in the shadow of the highlands, we find Abiku, V, and Rev sort of like huddled around Dewey's body, but unable to get any closer from this massive force, this beam of light that shot out from the exploding god jar that had lifted up into the sky. We cut back now immediately to that moment, and we see, I think, the light begin to fade down, and V and Abiku, the two of you feel whatever force was like keeping you back, like molasses you were trying to wade through, or like like cement mix that you were trying to like push and shove through to get to your friend. It just all sort of like, all the tension just goes. And I think Rev, who had her hand out to shield V, also stumbles a little as she was like unconsciously bracing against the tension, right? It's like someone who was like keeping you upright suddenly just disappears, so you stagger a bit. And I think there's like a moment where like the light goes down and the tension breaks. V and Abiku, what do the two of you do in that split moment?
I think V just screams, "Oh my, Dewey! Are you waking up, Dewey?"
What about you, Abiku?
I think Abiku digs her bow in so she doesn't fall. Because she doesn't know if she's gonna get blown back the other way, or last time she got like shoved to the ground.
And I think amidst like this like fumbling and stumbling and V shouting out, and Rev just goes, "Dewey, what? Is it done? Do you have her?" And like I think like the wind sort of that's been whipping like unconsciously around Dewey's form like dies down. The light begins to like sort of fade down in a sparkle. And Dewey, like I said before, you open your eyes. What do we see?
The first thing you see is Dewey's face. His big round glasses are gone. Did they fall off in the explosion? Did he lose them during the fight? Who knows? But one of his eyes is gold. His feathers are still blue, but this time less washed out denim and more ocean blue-green. It's hard to tell with all the dirt he's covered in, but his tail seems to be longer, wispier, and fiery red. The tips of his wings and tails are black. They're speckled with white dots. It's been a while, but it's definitely reminiscent of the starry skies we used to see before the Cataclysm. And in place of his normal utilitarian clothes, he's wearing a layered flowing robe with a long orange sash that sort of, it flutters in the wind as it blows around him, but even after the wind dissipates, it sort of idly moves around.
Oh my god! Dewey, do you like look, like aside from like the coloration and your clothes, is your body still like what it used to be, or has your body changed?
It's still Dewey.
It's still Dewey.
Still the pigeon man laying face down in the dirt. So
Right. But you're like beautiful now. Like as like the light clears and the dust sort of like wipes away, Dewey looks freaking gorgeous. Just like lying on the ground, no more cargo shorts, no more tool belt, sash and robes with beautiful like phoenix-like coloration. Gorgeous. Like stunning. Are you still face down? Do you like get up? Like, cause you're conscious now, Dewey.
He's been face down and he just like lifts his head up, looks around.
Who are you? What did you do with Dewey?
What? It's
He did it, right?
Wait. Dewey?
Yeah, how many other... Dewey looks at his feathers, and they're still blue. He's like, how many other bird people do you know? Well, that's a weird question to ask you.
It's a fair question.
There's lots of bird people.
Okay, well...
I don't want
of course
to
it's me.
worry us. There is still the guy, and
Yes, the hunter is still there. This entire time has still been there. This massive, like, black, like, humanoid, like, shadow, like, figure. And all of you see that it's currently lifting one of its huge feet and coming toward you. Like, lifting its huge feet, you feel the earth, like, all around you just shudder, and, like, its massive foot stomps onto the ground. And, like, we pan past, like, Rev's shocked face, and we press up, like, close onto Dewey's. Like, your feather face, your like, beak, like, no more glasses, one golden eye, one dark eye, right? Like, from who you used to be. And Dewey, you feel her inside you, Galtanger. She burns and glows and roils within your soul like a sunbeam shot through the ocean, just a pure radiant pillar of power, humming in your soul. And you just hear her voice, I think, like reverberating in your head. Dewey, it's time. It's time to end this beast here and now, together.
How? I'm not a fighter? You know this about me. Of course you know this about me.
Make something. And for some reason you feel compelled to, like, I think, look down at that same place where you'd look down when Carnivage was talking to you in your dream, and you see it. The God Jar. It looks exactly like it did when you made it, except there's cracks through, like, its entire form, and the cracks are sutured with gold that, like, gently and ambiently glow, and they're sort of, I think, strapped to your sash, if that's okay with you. Almost like a gourd would be strapped to the sash of, like, a monk. And it's sort of, like, pulsating with warm heat, like a furnace.
I unfasten it from my belt. Is it hot? Is it hot to the touch?
It is, but it doesn't burn you. It's like good hot, right? It reminds you of like a blacksmith's forge, you know, or like of like the hot like workshops that you would spend hours in while welding. It reminds you of the hot sparks that come off when you're like fusing pieces of metal together. It reminds you of your inventions.
I look inside the jar.
So I haven't actually sent you your God Jar stat block yet. So I think what this means in this particular instance, because you have just become the Paragon and you get to sort of like unleash a little bit, whatever you want to invent or create will pour right out of the jar. You just have to like think of like something that you want to like make, right? And like think of like how it would work and will it out of the jar. The jar is sort of like a furnace. It's like it will empower your creations. It will allow you to make things that are otherwise impossible to make.
I think Dewey saw the way that V's magic lit up the thing like a torch. And he knows you can't make like a ball of light. That's not tangible. But it feels like that's like with the glowing of the jar, and that's sort of what he's willing to come out of the jar.
You look down at this jar, cupping part of its body in your fingers, feeling the warmth sort of like net through your feathers, and you just think light. And the voice in your head, Galtanger's voice, just sort of resonates through the caverns of your skull, and it just goes, I can do that. And I think like the golden veins on the God Jar like light up. And you also light up, like your feathers ruffle, like very Studio Ghibli, or like all the way up, like your robes ruffle, your sash like whips in the wind like a flag. And we all just see, like cupped in your hands now, a massive ball of light just begin to appear, getting bigger and bigger. It's like bigger than you now. It's now bigger than a Biku. It's now bigger than sun, right? Like getting bigger and bigger and bigger, just in the palm of your hands, radiating outward from you, like a sphere of pure light, powered by the God Jar strapped to your waist. And wherever the light touches, you notice like the little bits of like dust that are ambiently floating in the air are eradicated. Like they're like sizzled out of existence. What do you do?
I think Dewey did not expect this large of enormous sun to like come out of the jar. and he got caught up in it and like drops it in shock. And then he looks at the hunter and then gives it a running punt, a kick
Like a
in its
soccer ball?
direction. Yeah.
Abiku and V, the two of you see like this huge, like divine moment, like energy rippling off of Dewey. Rev just goes, huh, Dewey's cool? And then Dewey drops it like onto the ground, and Rev goes, never mind. And then
On
Dewey
brand.
like pulls back a talon foot and kicks it. And it just like there's like some resistance as you kick it, right? Like you're kicking something heavy, almost like a sack of sand or something. Like we see like the contours of the light bend around Dewey's foot, and then it like vibrates, and then boom, like shoots forward, right? Like a miniature meteor. Like it hurtles through the air. And where on the hunter are you trying to hit?
I don't think I could kick it 120 feet in the air, so I think it's just gonna go like into one of the shins and maybe take down like a leg.
Yeah, it like whirls through the air, right? Like, and then it's just bam, like slams into one of the shins, and it passes through it like a cannonball passing through a straw man. It just poof. There's a hole just created in the shin of it. And like the hunter, which was approaching your group and like reaching for one of the bone spears attached to its massive trapezius muscles, like just sort of falls, right? Like onto the ground, like it falls, like the stump of its shin, like smashing onto the ground with a massive thud. And Dewey, in your head, you hear Galtinger's voice go, again.
You got more of that magic? And he tips the jar again.
You feel another like ball of like light like flows outward from like the neck of the jar and like into your hands like liquid gold. Shape it, Dewey. Give it form. Give it purpose.
I think he sort of moves his hands, his flat outstretched palms parallel to each other, and it turns into sort of like a curved flat blade. And this time he doesn't drop it, and this time he takes both hands and spins around like a discus thrower and lobs it in the direction of the hunter, trying to cut it in half.
Dewey, there is a massive explosion of light, like a crescent just gash, I think in the darkness, radiant, like a blade of pure daylight shoots out, I think, from your feathered hands, right? The god jar at your waist thrumming and vibrating and quaking and humming with warmth and power and divine radiance. And this slice, almost like a bladed boomerang or something, like shoots forward from your body, like sort of catapults like through the air, and it cuts like through like the middle of the hunter's waist, like clean through, and all of you see like in a single motion, like a thin like white line of light just open up in the waist, like kind of an anime, like when like swordsmen like draw and then sheath really quickly. And there's like silence, right, for like a hot minute. The hunter's like foot is like still halfway in the air, like it's unbroken foot. And then we just sort of see the hunter like slide down, like the top half of its body's torso slides down and begins to collapse toward the ground. And by the time its torso and its lower body hit the ground, it's disintegrated into dust. This black, thick particulate, like a obsidian mist, just fluttering through the air around you, smelling like absolutely nothing at all. What you imagine the vacuum of the space between the stars to smell like if they had a scent whatsoever. And just like that, the hunter's gone. Like it never existed at all, like its mass never occupied any space. And Abiku, you hear Sun's voice, urgent in your head, go, Abiku, the hound, it's disintegrating.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say he was turning into like another. No, that's good. We're done.
No, I think we beat it. Did you beat it?
No, it was Dewey. I was just here. She's an out reminder. She talks out loud.
Right. And on that, I think like Rev's eyes fall onto you, Dewey.
And Dewey's staring in disbelief. He's like, did I beat it?
V just breaks out laughing so hard. V is like, oh my god, Dewey, fuck fucking quirk! What is this?
Dewey throws his arms up in the air and he realizes he's still holding the god jar in one of them, and he quickly carefully fastens it to his waist again, and he throws his arms back up. He's like, "Did I do it?"
Biku's gonna run over and hug Dewey unless Dewey protests in any way.
Yes.
So is she?
Yes.
While holding the, is she?
She's just like jumping up and down.
Is she in the jar, or is she in you, or are you the jar?
That's a good question. Doesn't matter. We took down the thing. I took down the thing.
You took down the thing, Dewey.
You definitely did it. I distracted a dog.
That's pretty good.
That was important.
Great. Yeah.
I took down the thing.
You took down the thing? Well, it was called the hunter. You disintegrated the hunter is more apt than the thing. When you tell people you don't know that you took down the thing, because they'll be like, "What thing?" And they'll ask, like, "Did you take care? Is the herd still?" I look for the herd.
Oh, yeah.
At that point, all of you feel like the ground shake a little, and you all notice, like, you hear like from behind you, and you see like the massive herd that you were protecting, like behind you. They're beginning to surge up. I think like a slope, right, like toward where you are.
Oh shit.
Dewey? Dewey?
No one prepared me for this. Dewey's just going to, like, very unsure of himself, walk so that he's like, if we were all to get trampled, he would be the first one. So he's like in front of everyone else.
Brave, Dewey, brave. Yeah,
he doesn't look
love it.
Brave.
But you're still doing it, and that's what matters. You step out in front of everyone. Rev turns around, like holding another like muscular arm out in front of V again, I think, like in front of the herd. Right, cape billowing in the wind. Dewey, you stand there, right? Maybe your heart beating kind of fast in your chest, and you see like 100 feet away, 80 feet away, 50 feet away, right? The herd just sort of like trampling toward you. You see like the horned heads of antelope. You see the long necks of giraffes. You see the massive tusks of elephants beginning to like run into like the dim light cast by this line of torches that you've set up, and they run at you and past you peacefully. You feel like the ground shake all around you. You hear right from like elephants, right? You hear like the snorting and neighing and braying of horses, right? Like the right of like antelope. I don't know. I'm doing my best. The like the of like giraffes. This is Connie's Foley work showcase, I guess. And all these animals just stream past you harmlessly and past your friends as well. Maybe as you whirl around, as Rev's looking around and be like, what the? You all notice that the herd's like dispersing to like every direction, like all four corners of Kirtal, almost like they know the true way back home.
Nice job, Dewey.
That was amazing.
You can talk to animals now too. This is great.
I didn't do anything. Did we fix that too?
I guess we'll find out.
Rising up in your soul, Dewey, Galtanger's voice much fainter than before. Like she's like struggling really hard to say this to you directly. You get a sense that it's hard for god shards to talk directly to their paragons, even when they're in your souls. You hear her voice just go, "The herd is free. They no longer have to be my thralls anymore, now that the hunter is gone. And Dewey, I am not in your paragon weapon, your god jar. I am in you. I've blessed your jar with my power, and it obeys you."
Okay. You're welcome in the jar at any time, just so you know.
I'm suddenly very sleepy. Very, very sleepy.
No way.
You feel Galtanger just sort of like, she doesn't want to talk to you after that, like sink down into your soul, almost like a golden sunbeam just sort of like going to rest, right? Like folding itself down for bed, like folding, like a sunset. Exactly. Dipping beneath the horizon of your own mind. Hey, Dewey. Now to Dewey. You okay? You look zoned out there for a minute.
Yeah, super good. Is it? Do they always just like the gods? Do they always just like sort of make excuses to stop talking to you? Or...
Oh yeah, you'll get used to it eventually.
What?
Okay.
Never.
Okay.
What?
Huh?
No, yes, they are very talkative.
Yeah. Yeah, the Raven Queen was talking to a Bhikkhu back in the tomb.
All night.
Oddly enough.
I mean, my gods just like to wrap themselves around my heart, and when I don't do what they want, they just like to tighten up like a string.
V, I have a feeling Scott and Nectus are busy with themselves.
No, that's
in
I
your
don't want
soul.
to think about
Okay,
that. I don't
okay.
want to think about
Yep.
Oh.
All right.
That must be weird.
It's as long as I don't have to see it, it's fine. This is fine. Just don't think about it.
Don't you feel it? Isn't that worse?
It's like I don't want like you almost see it, just like she puts her hands on her heart like no, let's just go back with it feels like strings pulling on my heart. That's what it is, okay?
Strings,
That's
okay.
Right,
So
right.
strings.
Uh-huh. Rev sort of leans in and says, so what does it mean when we do stuff? I mean, I know the Raven Queen sort of tunes it out, but does that...
They seem to be fans. I don't know.
What? That's... I don't know if I...
No, they're lovers. They like appreciate loving happening, you know? It's not like they're watching, but...
I mean, aren't they always watching what we do? Dewey, she's gonna be watching you. Everything you do, just so you know. So, take that how you will.
Okay. It's not like I have...
It's not like you have anything to hide. Is that what you were literally about to say? Cardew's secrets quirk?
I was gonna say it's not like I have a hot partner I need to hide from.
Well, if you keep looking like this, Dewey's not going to be long. They're going to be lining up for all across Kirtal.
Look like what?
Yeah. I mean, you kind of look hot now, a little bit.
I assume that so everyone when they get the god thingy they get hotter, yes? Is that like a rule?
I mean, I thought I was pretty hot beforehand, but you know.
You
were.
hotter. Like Vasca was hot and then she got hotter, you know, like you get hot, not like you want hot, you get more hot.
Well, in Dewey's case, no, you're right. Like we just, you know.
He got more hot. He didn't get less hot.
Yeah.
No, I'll take it.
Is your clothes moving?
Yeah.
There's not even any
Do we-
wind.
Dewey like holds a hand over it, and then lifts his hand up, and it's still moving.
That's a little self-indulgent, don't you think, Dewey? Even I don't have like a flapping cape.
Do you think I designed this? I don't like do clothes. You think I designed? I couldn't. I didn't choose this.
That's true.
It chose you.
I mean, if Dewey were able to design his own Paragon form, I think it would have cargo shorts.
Well,
I like that cargo shorts exist in this world.
I wore them for a week, Rev.
More
And
like a
then-
couple of months.
I wore other things. I don't just wear the same pair of pants.
How many cargo
Anymore?
shorts
I don't
do
do that
you
anymore.
own, Dewey?
Well, currently, none.
What was up with that spirit that came out of your sword? Can we talk about that? What the hell was that?
Oh shit.
Spirit?
Where's my sword? Is it still on me?
It's on you. I mean, yeah, if you want it to be, it could be strapped to your back if you want. It's up to you.
Yeah. Dewey like feels around for it, and it's on his back, and he's like, nothing. Paragon transformation. Dewey hot now. Can we go back to?
What happened to not telling secrets? I thought we just said something about no secrets.
Don't you think you've had enough surprises for one day?
At this point, V becomes aware of her wings, her dragon wings that are still.
Right.
Yeah, let's talk about those.
At that, Rev just goes, wait, hold on. V, whoa, what the fuck?
Wow.
Did you always have those?
No. But then again,
Okay.
I've never had like, and V like is touching her scales. I've never had these either. It's just,
It's very pretty.
Oh, thank you, Abiku.
Did you also? You were already a paragon, right? Yes.
Yes, yeah. I've had Scott and Nectus for a while now.
is it the continual process of getting hotter? I think is like...
That would make sense. Like, you get hotter and stronger.
Well, you know, that would explain why Rev is so gorgeous. I mean, she's had her paragons longer than any of us, so...
I have, but I haven't had any major transformations aside from my hair. But that wasn't the Raven Queen. That was Oka cut my hair because I was feeling depressed. That V remembered she had an ex-fiance, and then kissed her in front of me without talking about it. Back in too long, slept with her without talking to me about it. So I got, I felt a little, but it's water under the bridge now. V and I talked about it. We're good.
Vika's just like, I got to talk to Takoa.
I think V takes a moment to like think about these wings, feel them, and she feels some magical weave pulling under her, and slowly you can see everyone else they start glowing faintly purple and more intensely, and all of a sudden they just almost like a vapor just sort of dissipate off into nothing.
I thought that was permanent.
Your wings were a vape trick?
I cannot.
Jesus.
Can we not? Is vaping a thing in Andake? Okay.
It is now. I guess the URL would know what a vape. Maybe they invented vapes.
I invented
the URL have vapes.
Dewey invented the vape. It's canon. It's canon now.
Yeah, I don't know. They came there. Oh, I wonder if I can make them come back. And I think V tries really hard, but then she can only do that once a day. She's just you see her constipation face.
Hey! Don't pop anything. Don't pop anything, V. You're
okay.
That was
I'm a little lightheaded.
Hey. And Rev catches you. Those wings were beautiful. And after you took Scott and Nexus inside your soul, the scales on your face became more prominent, and what we know about your dad, what your mom said about him. I mean, now that Galtanger's with Dewey, maybe this is a sign. Maybe this means, I don't know, maybe you are part dragon?
Oh wow, this is... I didn't... Oh my gosh, you can just see V math calculus face going on. Maybe we should try to, I don't know, the horses. Shadow.
Oh, right. And you see your horses loyal as always, 3 of them still leashed to the hitching post, and Shadow, which was taken off the hitching post, is sort of pacing nearby eating the grass.
Shadow! Oh my gosh, they're okay. The horses are okay, everybody. V halfway is running to the horses and turns back. They're okay. Our horses, they're okay. I'm very excited about horses. This is very new for you all to see.
Rev leans into a Biku and Dewey. She's kind of cute when she's gushing about horses, right? In almost an innocent way.
Yes.
When did she become a horse girl?
Whatever, shouldn't have tried to bring this up with the 2 of you. You'd never appreciate. And Rev just sort of mutters off, under her breath, and walks after V. At that point, I think Sun has returned to you, Abiku, bounding through the darkness. The skeleton drake, just comes up to you, and your head goes, I did good, and so did you, and Dewey's a paragon now, just like Voska, right? So that means we won, we did it, we succeeded.
Yes, we did it, and it went much better this time than last time, I would say. We were with a paragon, so you can go rest now. I think we're all good.
Oh, awesome. Well, I love you, Abiku, and I love fighting with you, and I loved how you shot that hound in the nose and then you cut it in half with that lightning and bam, 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 bam.
And I think Sun is really excited about having done a good job fighting. Even as you desummon him, right? Still his voice in your head, excitedly gabbling about it.
You have a good night. Yes. Yep.
And he continues to talk about it. Maybe you're able to shunt him right to the back of your mind a little bit.
So Dewey, first, when Rev asked if it was the right thing to say, was yes, right? That's I did the right thing. I'm not good with politeness. socially, and so I wasn't sure if socially I was supposed. That's why I thought for a second. You look good job.
Thanks. We should hang out more often. No one ever tells me, Dewey, good job.
Oh, that is sad. Do you not do good jobs?
Well, yeah, mostly no, yeah.
Oh, I mean, if you do good jobs, people should tell you, but if you don't do good jobs, I mean, you can't really expect someone to just lie.
Yeah.
But that was a good job. I know you were very afraid of, accepting the fates that you'll have to die to save a bunch of people.
Oh yeah, that part.
It's very, I know that's a very good thing you've done.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Maybe now you can go see your family?
Let's take it one step at a time, maybe.
I don't have a family, and it doesn't seem like a lot of people here talk about family, and I think you should see them before whatever is going to happen has to happen. I'll go with you if it makes it easier. I'm great with kids, I think. I've never met one.
I think kids would love you. Let's take some time before I go confront the ghosts of my past.
Oh, are they not alive?
No, they're alive. There's a lot there. There's a lot of
it's a
old
euphemism.
history, sort of. Yeah. No, they're not dead.
Yes, but ghost of past is like a euphemism, they aren't actually the ghosts of your past, literally.
Yes.
That's a new one. I'll write that. The ghosts.
Okay.
Of my past. That's a good one for me, because that's I don't know my past, right? And who knows what else I remember? I remembered I killed a bunch of people. Maybe I killed more people.
Yeah, and maybe you talked about being alive a long, long time ago, so maybe ghosts of your past would be literal?
Yes, unless more people like me are alive, which that would be weird, right?
Nah, I bet you're the only one.
Abiku! Dewey, come on! It's a long way back to the Gon clan.
Oh gosh, I have to talk to Toktoa.
Oh gosh, I have to talk to Toktoa.
And then we cut to... we cut to... And on that, we cut back to the Gon clan. Several days later, this military camp flying its flags high and proud. We hear the thwacking of arrows going into straw dummies. We smell the smoke from nearby canteens, open roasted meat and vegetables to feed the training soldiers. We see proud banners, big girs and tents, massive, I think, spikes of wood in the ground to form this huge fence around the military encampment that used to be the headquarters of the Gon clan itself proper. And we find Abiku, Dewey, and V in Toktoa Kagan's Central War tent. We see a hide covered interior with felt, right, and wooden ribs sort of forming a dome on top. We see Toktoa Kagan's most trusted lieutenants and generals around a massive war table, the same table that V swiped a couple of golden figurines from, let's say. We see big grizzled looking people with tons of muscle and scars leaning in, talking to each other in hushed tones on one side of the table, and on the other side of the table, I think backlit by these torches flickering within the tent, draped in, I think, furs, right? Because it's getting kind of cold now. Toktoa Kagan. She has on a felt cap, I think, with a spur on top, and she's her face is schooled in a perfect expression of seriousness as her hands are splayed on either side of this massive map of Kirtal and Andake, on this war table, and she's conferring amongst her generals and moving figurines around with solid thunks across the hardened wood. That's when the three of you, I think, come in. The tent flap opens and flaps shut. There's a breeze, a cold breeze that gusts in with your group. Maybe some powdery snow also filters in with your group. Toktoa looks up. And she makes eye contact with your party from across the tent, right? The warmth of this interior sort of suffusing your skin. So, The prodigal so-called paragon returns with a costume change. And her eyes like look over your feathers, Dewey.
Not just that. Not just a new outfit.
Oh? Have you come here to announce that you have her, Galtanger, with you? Galtanger's blessing. Well, where is she? I don't see her. And the generals next to her like laugh at that.
You literally just, like, in me, remember? You think I would just tote Galtanger around like a pet?
Not a pet. A symbol of strength.
Dewey's gonna try his best to channel Galtanger's powers and sort of, yeah.
How I'm not gonna let you off the hook there, Dewey. How do you channel her powers to make her like shine through you? Like undeniably you have her.
In his mind, Dewey says, "Hi, sorry if I made you upset earlier. I could use your help. She's so confident, she's the Paragon, and like, I'm the least confident person I know." And I think as this like rambling is going on, you just see him like head down and like the edges of his robes start to flutter a little bit, and the sash, the orange sash, is sort of like flapping, even though we're inside a tent and there's no wind.
As it goes on, you like hear not a word in response, but like a feeling of like immense warmth rising up through your soul, right? Like heat rises, right, through cold atmosphere. And the god jar strapped to your waist like glows, like through the cracks, like it did when you beat the hunter. And all of you, like, papers begin to like flip off of like the tables, like lieutenants and generals like raise like armored gauntlets up to cover their faces, and you begin to glow, Dewey. And there's like an undeniable kind of divinity to how you're glowing. I think your feet lift off the ground like a couple of inches as you glow, and like your feathers ruffle, and like a light like beams out of the cracks in your feathers. And Galtanger's voice resonates out of your throat. Even though your mouth doesn't move, her voice comes out. And it just says,
"My Paragon need not prove himself to anyone."
And like in a single file, all of the lieutenants and generals they kneel. Like Galtanger's like pure pressure, like that she exerts, just forces them to kneel in like a single motion. They just like go down. All these like big muscular people just like hit the ground like on their knees. And Toktoa she doesn't hit the ground, but she's standing there, right? Like with her like hands like on the map and just staring at you, floating up into the air. Like your eyes literally shooting out god beams, right? And like a god's voice coming out of your throat. And Toktoa just goes, Galtanger?
And then Dewey falls to the ground, back onto his feet.
And it's like all the air that was sucked out of this room like comes like flowing back into this vestibule, and like all the generals and lieutenants start breathing again. You notice a couple of them have like passed out from the immense pressure. Like some of them are like sweating bullets like down their face in like the few seconds it passed since they were forced to kneel. And Toktoa, even, you see like some like sweat running down her face as she was just like braced against the table, and she just goes, "Leave us now." And the generals and lieutenants don't need like a second word. They get the fuck out of there, right? Like leaving just the four of you and Toktoa in this room.
Dewey thought that she was speaking to him, and he like turns to leave.
I think V like stops him. Like Dewey turns around, like walks right into V, and V's like, "No, don't. She didn't mean us." And like turns Dewey around to like step back forward towards Toktoa.
Sorry, that's just usually how she talks.
Shh, be cool, kid. You're doing great. You're doing great.
Is that proof enough?
I don't. And she like pushes like off of the table a little bit. And Abiku, you've never seen Toktoa so riled up before, right? Like this is, you know her the most intimately out of everyone. This is unusual for her to kind of like, for just the first time since you've met her, look unsure of herself. I don't understand your brilliance. Why him when you could have me? I've heard tales of the mighty bow Karvash Turai wielded Sunshot. I've trained my entire life to be worthy of any kind of honor. I'm the leader. I did something no one could. I united the clans. I do nothing but ride in your honor. I have worshipped you since the day I was born. Why him? I don't understand. What makes him more worthy than me?
I know this is like a whole thing for you two, but I have some insight, I think. It's not about being worthy or not worthy. She didn't want him at first either. It was a whole thing. But fate doesn't really care what anyone else wants. It's a river. Okay, wait, Rev said it, but it's a river and you can like follow. No, that's not right. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is it's not that you did something wrong or that Dewey did something right. Well, he did do something right eventually, but it's more of like you didn't do something wrong by being yourself, and Dewey didn't do something wrong by being himself. It's just like what was meant to be. Right? V, help me out here.
You know, look, if there's anyone here who doesn't deserve to be Paragon, it's me. I'd pretend to be Paragon and rip you all off for 100 gold pieces and leave in the middle of the night, but that's not how things work. And V looks at Dewey, he's like, trust me, Abiko's right. Dewey did nothing to deserve this, but he's our golden pigeon, and we're gonna save Andake. I'm sorry that's not you. You know, there's a large number of people in Andake who really wish they were Paragons, apparently, and maybe next lifetime, friend.
A thief. A coward. An orphan. An exile. A dead woman. A criminal. A wandering traveler. These are all destined paragons, but someone like me, who I've proven through fire and flame and blade that I want nothing more than the ability to protect my people and save Andake. I want this. I don't care if I have to throw my life away for this. I want this. I'm not chosen by fate, but you all are. What kind of justice is that?
I mean, I did you hear yourself? You've done, sounds like pretty well for yourself, and for your people, without the powers of a god being inside you.
Toktoa, like, turns away from the table, like, so her profile's to you, and she sort of, like, knits the bridge of her nose against, like, her thumb and her forefinger, and, like, pinches it really hard, and looks like she's focusing really hard, and you get the sense that, like, she was not expecting you to succeed, right? She genuinely did not expect you to succeed, and she was expecting you to be the paragon of Galtanger. Like, she genuinely believed that, and that's now falling down around her, right? And this is the look of a woman who has, in a way, like, hit rock bottom, in a sense, because this was not in her plans at all. In all of these beautiful maps she's laid out, she's never prepared for this eventuality. And that's when Galtanger speaks again. Through your throat, Dewey, which is an uncomfortable sensation that your vocal cords are being used, like, by an entity other than yourself, but here she comes. And Galtanger just says, Kagan. And Toktoa turns around, and we feel this pressure just like outward from Dewey when that voice comes out, and Toktoa immediately looks, like, drops her hands from her face and looks at you, Dewey, with, like, wide, startled eyes. And the voice goes on.
What you say is true. I remember you. I remember you as a child, worshipping me in ritual under the rolling fields of Kirtal, sacrificing your animals to me, pledging your fealty and allegiance to me. Your devotion to me is divine, as is your devotion to your people.
Your brilliance. Thank you, but why can't you choose me, then?
It's not about what even we, the 8, want. This is out of even our hands. This is Destiny's purview, and you must accept that, Kagon. You cannot live in denial like my Paragon did for many months. This path will only lead to ruin.
So what do I do? What do I do now?
I, of all my brethren, refuse to bend the knee to fate. I do not intend to sacrifice myself or my Paragon soul to save Andake if that can be averted no matter what destiny says. And because of that, I've reached a conclusion. If fate can choose Paragons for us 8, then we, the 8, can choose our keepers. No?
And this is the first time the term keepers has ever been used. Both like above the table in Transplanar canon and like in the world of Andake. Like the word keeper is unfamiliar to I think any of you, right? It doesn't ring the same way that Paragon does. And Toktoa goes, what? Keeper? I don't understand. And the golden voice brimming out of Dewey's throat addresses a Bhikkhu.
That's what we used to call you and Xun Yi. And it looks like the Raven Queen has claimed you again as hers.
I am sorry. I'm new to being friends with a god. So, you also used to be my friend?
It is a story longer than any tapestry woven by Nitbusa's Paragon. Continue to beseech the Raven Queen's advice. Abiku, she is the one to speak to. I dare not unravel your mind.
One keeps saying that. Okay. I can't unravel. She's like just muttering to herself. Everyone keeps saying that to her.
The golden voice pivots back toward Toktoa.
I can make you my keeper, a champion of my value, someone worthy of Sunshot.
And at that, Toktoa like straightens up when she says that.
But you're not ready yet. You need to learn the greatest lesson of all for someone of your stature, your accomplishment, your honor, which is humility. And you can begin by apologizing to my Paragon.
Toktoa looks like she'd rather eat glass. She's standing there like staring at Dewey.
Mom said it's my turn with the god.
Staring at you, Dewey. You look at her, she looks at you. You look at her, she looks at you.
Well,
she pulls herself up to her full height, looks you dead in the eye. Dewey Quirk, I'm sorry.
V just in the background.
Go on.
I doubted you when I should have had faith, even though there was no... She stops herself from qualifying it. I undermined you when I should have supported you, and I didn't give you a fair chance. I never believed in you when that's all the world needed me to do. And I'm sorry for being mean and rude to you during your stay here and outside of it as well. I recognize that it can make you feel small, insecure, and unimportant, and I apologize. apologize. I promise I'll do better.
Dude looks back and forth to V or Avnabiku and is like, huh?
I think V just like raises one eyebrow and is like, that was probably the best you're gonna get.
Yeah. Good enough.
I think it really matters if Galtenga thinks it's good, right?
Oh yeah. How's that?
Galtanger chimes out of your soul, Dewey, and says, so everyone can hear,
Whether or not you accept the apology, my paragon, is entirely up to you. But I felt you were owed one.
Thanks. I've never had anyone have my back like that. Well, no one that, yeah. Thank you, Taktoa. I believe you.
I truly do mean it, and I'm not just saying it so I can get Sunshot or become a keeper, whatever that means. Talking with a god really puts things into perspective. This is beyond my control, isn't it? I couldn't make Galtanger take me, even if I forced her to, and I would never. So, I am genuinely sorry that I didn't see that until now.
That's all right. We all tried to avert fate, change destiny. Understandable.
Galtanger beams out of your throat again upon this like awkward acceptance, right, of like her apology. And Galtanger says,
Very well. You shall find Sunshot, dear Kagan, after you embark upon and complete a pilgrimage to the tomb of Karvach Turai.
And like Galtanger like sucks back down into your soul. It's like kind of like a whoa, like it's an intense sensation for like that, you know, all that radiance to be stuffed back into your sternum, Dewey. And Taktoa just goes, wait, but I understand.
So we are all good here. There's nothing else to, it's all taken care of.
Yes. The herd has been dispersed. Paragon has been made. Galtanger is safe. There is only, I must make the pilgrimage as per her brilliance's command and continue to prepare my people for war.
V would like to look at the table. Have there been replacements to the figurines she lifted a few weeks ago?
There have not.
Okay, so I think at this point V is going to go over to the table where she stole the figurines. Truth be told, she doesn't have most of them right now. So she pulls out 8 gold pieces and she like vaguely puts pieces back where she kind of vaguely remembers that they were, and she leaves the last one is at Karvach's tomb. She's like, don't forget the village at the tomb. They need supplies, and she puts it down on the map. The tomb is.
Oh, of course! I can't believe... they must have been waiting for weeks now. This is most unlike me, visitors. This is... And like she like shakes her head and like starts like scribbling, I think, in like a notepad. And Rev clears her throat at you, V.
Okay, it's not your fault completely. I don't know. We were on the road and I suddenly saw that I had these figurines in my pack. Once a thief, always a thief, and they were pretty. They were gold. I am sorry that I stole from you these pieces, these figurines that seemed like they were of value. It was... V like looks over to Rev one more time. It was wrong that I took them, but except in these pieces are more. Just take these gold pieces as penance for what I've done.
Get out.
Fine by me. And V turns around and like quickly dodges out of there.
Do I need to leave too, or?
You. Actually, we should talk, Abiku.
Yeah, I thought so.
Rev just goes, Okay, we'll leave you to it. And like Russell's like after V. It's just good talk, Kagan. Glad we got everything squared away. We're gonna go do Paragon business now. Goodbye. V, I'm proud of you. Right, like, and like Rev like goes out of like the tent, like following V. What about you, Dewey?
Dewey's like, oh, I thought you hadn't met. Okay.
Wait.
You possibly have to talk.
No, oh.
Dewey, get out here.
Okay.
She looks like Tactile. He is not very observant. I didn't like sneak.
No, he's not very observant at all. Right as like Dewey's like walking out of the tent. And on that, I think on like a Dewey and V and Rev like exiting Taktoa's tent, and Abiku staying after for some decompression of her own with Taktoa, we are gonna cut to break. Wow, what a first half. Keepers, Paragon, Dewey. I loved Sexy Birdman. Enjoy the fan art reel. We love you so much. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Pisho. Taking a break.
You are a little bit different from everybody, but not a lot different. They keep statues of execution to harrow their spirit. You keep secret pictures of dead people in your underwear drawer because you find it erotic. You are a little bit different from me, but not a lot different. I hide in my blood, and you want to drink it. And I want you to drink it. Because you are made of food that I cannot eat. Because I am made of food that I cannot eat.
is from a witch who was born of many gender. I learned to see a light I learned to watch it glitter. I learned a secret from the light. I learned to watch it dancing. I learned to swallow light, to illuminate my darkness. I learned to feel love when I look upon my dark things. I learned this from a witch who was born of many gender. I learned to see a light. I learned to watch it glitter. I learned a secret from the light. I learned to watch it dancing. I learned to swallow light, to illuminate my darkness. I learned to feel love when I look upon my dark things. I learned this from a witch who was born of many gender. I learned to see a light. I learned to watch it glitter. I learned a secret from the light. I learned to watch it dancing.
Content warnings for this episode. Content warnings for this episode include fantasy violence, monsters and monstrosity, death, apocalypse, trauma, complex and complicated relationships, flirting and romance, references to sexual entanglements, and familial conflict.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the final episode of Arc 5. Wow. The final session for our Kirtal party. I'm still stumped. This is gonna be the last little bit you watch before this arc is over. So yeah, but let's do it. Let's bang it out. Let's have a denouement. Let's wrap up all of our business here in Kirtal. Welcome back. And let's get right back into it. Abiku, you are alone with Toktoa in the main war tent. Last time you were here alone with Toktoa, the two of you were up to some, let's say, R-rated activities that we cannot repeat here on Twitch or else we'll get flagged. There's that rug, where the two of you cuddled, like there's that war table, like memories start flooding back a little bit here, right? Like you just see flashes of yourself and Toktoa enjoying each other's company. As the tent flap closes behind V, Dewey, and Rev. And Toktoa, I think, sits down on like a big chair, I think made of wood and bone and hide, sort of stitching it together. And sort of puts one hand, elbow on the armrest and sort of just threads the pad of her fingers through her temple with the other. Abiku, please make yourself comfortable.
Okay, she sits on her lap.
Oh, you sit down on her lap. She looks up at you. You're massive. You're bigger than her, right?
Yeah,
but you,
absolutely.
You squanch down, right, like a house cat, and you sit down. She looks up at you and says, "What a day."
Yes, are you okay? And she kind of just rubs her hand. I think so. I've kind of been there a lot. Usually I'm dying when I have that kind of breakdown. So I know you said you're fine, but are you fine?
I must be fine, Abiku, for my people.
A lot of people keep saying that to the Oldie Paragons are we have to be perfect for other people, but I'm not your people, so are you fine?
I will be. I had a very clear vision, I think, of what the path forward for Kirtal looked like, and now that vision is not so clear anymore. But I am the Kagon. I can roll with the punches.
Well, that's good. I don't know where I came from, and I don't really know where I'm going. Well, okay, I'm supposed to go to Moreau's. I know that, but I don't know why. Also whole God thing. They were go there and find out more, so that's where I go, It seems like they kind of tell you to do stuff and we do it.
I'm usually the person on the other side of it, the one issuing the command.
Oh, right, because you're in charge. Well, it is, when you're not in charge, you get used to being told what to... Apparently, I used to be a lieutenant, so I was almost in charge.
A lieutenant?
Yes. Oh, right. I never told you. Oh, we should really talk. Okay, wait. And she gets up. Okay, so I am dead, technically. And then I got brought back, but I'm not like alive the way Rev is alive. I'm like mostly dead, apparently. People say that. And I used to be alive a long time ago, and there were giants and dragons, and I was in an army, and I killed a lot of people, but not like monsters, like people, like in real, like people, you know? And I was really good, but I was bad at politics, which honestly tracks, so I couldn't move up in rank, and that's why I was not a commander. I'm not doing good at this. I'm sorry.
No need to apologize. Abiku. She's like considering her next words very carefully, like taking in like everything you just said to her, right? And she's just sort of like, okay, accepting it, putting it somewhere else. And she says to you, I don't think we should sleep together again before you leave.
Oh, that's good. I did not think so either.
Good. I'm glad we're on the same page.
I do have something else I think we should do though, if you would join me. You come, and she'll go like sit on like on the rug, I think, and like pats the rug.
Toktoa pauses and then gets up and like walks over to where you are and like sits down on her knees.
Abiku gets out of her bag. She takes out Sun's skull. Oh, this is Sun. You will meet him later. That is not for right now. It's just anyway. And she takes out this like lever, like I don't know what you call those things that like roll up, you know, that you keep tools in. And she like unrolls it, and there's like 4 different look like straight needle like hooks you'd use for like crocheting or something. And she's like, "Do you know how to handle my hair?"
No.
Oh, well, I can show you. And she'll like take it out of like it's like half ponytail, so it's like probably like down on the floor, honestly. Should you take one of this and you will put it at the base here, and you will start to work in. You see all this new hair that I have underneath, and then you work it in to the strand, so it stays in the lock.
I can do that.
Yeah, I'll show you. Give me the other one, and Abiku will start on like one side.
And with Toktoa, she starts doing your hair, with you like showing her how to do it, I think, right? And it's like a weirdly tender moment, I think, like a weirdly vulnerable, intimate, and tender moment here.
But like halfway through, I think when like Toktoa's like working on like a back strain or something, and like Abiku's just sitting there, I'm like, I apparently used to have someone when I was alive. The Raven Queen said I had an other half, you know? And I don't remember who they are. I get flashes, but I hear Rev and V talk about like when V had someone and they forgot and then remembered, and it was like a whole thing for them. And, you know, I know the last time I was here, we didn't do a lot of talking. We were busy. We were busy other places with our mouths. But I think I like you. You feel good, you know? Well, not okay. That sounds. I mean it's not like that. Okay, wait. I'm not good at this. I don't want you to have surprises from me if we want to keep trying this.
Abiku, I appreciate you telling me about yourself. It's a lot to take in, the whole dead thing, dragon. Don't worry, I've heard it. She pauses, like her fingers pause, I think, on your scalp.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had anyone. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Oh, well.
Not because I couldn't, or because I wasn't interested, or they weren't interested in me, but because I chose not to. I choose not to, Abiku. Regardless of how I feel, I I don't do love. And it scares me to think maybe I could with you. But my people come first. They always do. Love is a distraction.
Why is it a distraction and not an aid? I have traveled with Rev and V and it's only helps them. Okay. Your people come first. I would not want to get in the way of that. I don't know why you think I or anyone else would demand you care less about your people just to care about them. I only want to help those around me. If you do not want me around because it is scary for you, that is fine. But I think you need to ask yourself, what can help you be better for your people? Do they need just a perfect lonely woman, or do you need to fully experience life to understand how they fully experience life?
I'm afraid I don't think any of us have time to fully experience life before the stranger comes.
You would be surprised what you can do in a few months.
I'm not willing to roll the dice when my people's fate are in my hands.
Well, I mean, that is your choice. As you've said, you can choose to do many things, but I think you should consider it, at least do that.
Toktoa, I think, finishes up the braid she was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she actually, like, scoots, so, like, you're facing each other, right? She's, like, no longer behind you.
Yeah.
I don't do things in half measures, Abiku. When I lead with my entire heart and soul. When I love. I put 100% of myself into the tasks I apply myself to. And if we were to be something, I wouldn't do anything less. So for me, there is no middle path to walk. It's fire or water. I'm no worshiper of Mahu. I don't know steam. I don't know compromise. I'm sorry, Abiku, and I hope you understand.
I do, and you do not have to be sorry. I was worried you would be that you would be really sad, you know. I'll try and take her hand if she lets me. I do think maybe I am not the right person, but you should consider maybe someone else could walk your path with you. And she'll start to gather her things. Just, you don't have to do everything alone, you know? I've been traveling with so many paragons that they are together, but it feels like so many people live separate that they think they have to do the thing, you know? But when you travel with someone, you can do anything.
I'll keep that in mind, Abiku. And maybe if our paths cross again, we can talk again.
I would like that. I wish you luck on your pilgrimage. The village they are a little weird. Just so you know.
They're very into Turai's legacy. I'm aware.
Okay. Also, they are going to be very weird around you. They were very weird.
I know. Most people are. Most women, when they look at me, they scream and faint.
Oh, well, that is not surprising. You are very attractive.
Thank you. As are you.
Oh, I know, but thank you.
Well, Abiku, I wish you luck as well. And she stands up, right, as you're gathering up your things and standing, right? She stands up and she actually offers a hand, as an equal partner, right? To shake in respect.
Okay, that is a little silly. And she opens her arms up for a hug.
Fine. And she goes in and she hugs you, kind of reluctantly, a little stiffly. Abiku, I wish you luck on your journey to remembering who you are.
Thank you. I wish you luck on finding the sunshot, it was?
Yes, the magical bow that never misses and can pierce the hide of any target. Yeah, that'll be a great boon in the war against the stranger, I'm sure.
Yes, it should. Also, I hope you get to meet the ghost of the lady who has it. She is hotter than me, so...
You mean the former Paragon? Cardvach? Her ghost is down there?
Why wouldn't it be?
Huh, okay. Well, good talk, Abiku. I'm glad we're on the same page. And I'm glad... I'm not used to not being a heartbreaker.
Oh, I am not sure I have a heart, so...
I don't know if that's true, Abiku. It might not beat, but it's still there.
Like... and she'll leave, and as soon as she's like out of tent shot, she starts crying.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that's fucking devastating.
Oh my god.
Oh my
cry.
God.
Oh, I love that cry.
I do. I mean, GM Connie loves the emotional stabs. Wow. Okay. While that conversation was happening, I think we're gonna pivot to a different part of the war camp, where we find V. Where are you, V, and what are you up to?
I think the three of them coming out of the tent, Rev and V have been kind of walking together and like kind of whispering back and forth, and V's like, Rev was like, I'm so proud of you, bro, and like V's like, I feel like I should go talk to Dewey real quick.
Right, okay, yeah. Why don't you? I'll gather you some flowers.
You see V just blush, her cheeks just turn red against these green scales on her face. I'll see you later.
Meet me on the hill?
Yes, absolutely. And
Okay.
then V turns towards Dewey, who, I don't know, Dewey, what have you been up to on this walk before I interrupted?
Dewey has been like awkwardly trailing behind, like trying to give you some space, and like checking out his new feathers, and, kind of like twiddling, like the equivalent of twiddling his thumbs, trying not to listen in on your conversation.
Dewey.
Yeah.
Can we have a little talk?
Okay.
Don't worry. Yes, it's no worry. This isn't gonna be like our last talk, I swear.
Uh-huh.
Do you mind if I take us somewhere a little more private?
Yeah, sure.
And like V like puts an arm around Dewey, and dimension doors, the two of them outside of the town, probably near the area of where the myriad and all of that went down. And then there's a poof, there's a green poof in this area, and V's just like, don't worry, I swear nothing bad is going to happen this time. Don't worry, no.
You gotta stop doing that.
Look, it's fine. I've been doing it for a while now. I know it's hard to get used to, but wait. You're distracting me. Dewey, Cardu, Quirk.
Oh no.
Good job. You did a really amazing job.
Dewey reels for a moment, and then he takes a step towards V, and then he very slowly reaches out and pokes her cheek.
V casts minor illusion and like does the voice of the myriad. No, I'm joking. No. I'm sorry.
You can't do this to me.
I'm joking. No,
I literally.
No, time out. We're fine. This is everyone. This is fine. We're fine. Okay, we're fine.
Can you just call a timeout for my trauma?
I know. Look. I know that I have been pushing you really, really hard here in Kirtal. Honestly, I didn't know if you had this in you. I was really worried about you. I didn't know if I could trust you. I didn't know if you would actually go through with it when Galtanger was right there, and you scared me there. There was that moment where I thought, great, Dewey's gonna do what Dewey does and just run away and just not do what we need him to do. You did it.
Yes. I feel like the hard part is yet to come, though, right?
Let's not. Yeah. Yes, the hard part is coming. Yes, this was the easy part. But I know that if you look at my record, I'm not very trustworthy, right?
Exhibit A 5 minutes ago. But yes, sure. Continue with your point.
I know that you have no reason to trust me, but if you look, I don't know, 5 hours ago back over in Ducao, you were building this jar, not telling any of us, being friends with people that nobody knew about, and you laid us right into a trap, right?
Yes. That was a thing of past me. I wouldn't do that. Yeah, okay. I fucked up.
I fucked up. We both fucked up, right? Yay! Now we get to do something about it. And you know my first name is Vasante, right?
Yeah, it's still getting used to it, but yeah.
Well, slowly but surely, I want to be Vasante in my daily life. I don't want to be who V is or was. We're facing the big end, right? We're gonna have to take on the stranger. And I don't want to die as V. I want to go as Vasante. And I want to make the things in my life right before that happens. And I think you should too.
I don't say this very much, but I respect you for that.
I probably have that coming. But look, I don't know what you've got planned after this, but I'm going to Moreau's. There's the tapestry, there's possibly Sievert, there's inklings of maybe my father? And I don't know what your plans are now. I don't know. We'll probably have to talk to the group in Dabathati. Hopefully they're doing well.
I'm sure they are. Well, I mean, we already saved the place. How much trouble could they get into?
Right,
That's not to think about that.
Yeah. But I want you... So, you know that I might have a dragon for a father, right? Everyone keeps saying, apparently I have a dragon for a father, maybe. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
So, I'm gonna go find my father. And I'm gonna go make things right? Whatever that means. I'm gonna settle all of my business before I go. Because we're looking at a one-way ticket. And I think... I need to tell you before I go. It wasn't that my father left that hurt so much. It's that he never came back. So go back.
Damn, you really know how to cut right to the bone, huh?
Look, your family, or your daughter, she's probably gonna have some feelings, but she probably would much rather know that you're out there, knowing what you're doing for her, for everybody else, than to go around the rest of her life never knowing who you are or what you've been up to.
Sometimes it's just hard to disappoint our kids.
I don't know what it's like to have kids. I'm not going to pretend like I do. But as the child of Paya Nakshirzo, I can tell you it can be just as confusing and difficult being the child. Especially when you don't know what's going on and no one will tell you.
Maybe you're right. Maybe it's just easier to have everything out in the open? I don't know. Funny advice from you.
Look, I'm not perfect. None of us are. But I'm trying to be better than I used to be.
Me too.
Do you want a hug?
Yeah, I guess. Come here.
V wraps around. It's like Dewey's so much shorter that it's like reaching down and like barely like basically arms behind Dewey's head, but just like squeezing the top shoulders close and just being like, I really am proud of you, Dewey.
Thanks. You showed me how to be a paragon, you know?
That's scary for all of our sakes.
It's scary to be a role model, you know?
Oof. If I'm people's role models, oof, then Andake's in trouble.
You see why it's scary to have kids.
Oh gosh. Well, I'm glad we had this little talk, Dewey, and I'm gonna go see my the love of my life, Rev, over and like be like points over to the hill where you can probably like see just like the silhouette of a Rev over there.
Is she
Flash dimension door?
Just leave him outside of town.
You can fly. It's fine. We cut from the like dimension dooring like from Dewey landing next to Rev, who's like stooped over. She straightens when she hears the pop and the poof, right, and the purple smoke. She turns around and you see she's got a bouquet of beautiful wildflowers, very picturesque. It's like a scene from a Ghibli movie. She's on the side of a mossy, grassy hill. Like a breeze is going. It's like daytime, right? Like her hair's being ruffled, like her cape is flowing in the wind, and you like land next to her, and it's just grass for miles behind her, right? And rolling hills and fresh open air, and your lover with flowers in her hands for you. V, here.
V like grabs it and she's like, you almost see like tears welling up in her eyes. They're so beautiful.
I tried to find green and purple ones for your, color scheme.
I never would have thought you were so color coordinated. You simply usually just rock the all black. It's
I'm not really. And he looked down at the bouquet and it's kind of ugly. Like it's like there's like some weeds in there. Like some pieces of grass. But it's the thought that counts. She like made it purple, green, and red for you.
Oh, they're so beautiful. Thank you so much. I love you.
I love you too. You have a good talk with Dewey?
Oh, yeah. I apologized, I think. I apologized, yeah. And told him I'm heading off to Moreau's. I said I was proud of him. I told him to go to see his kid.
I've thought about telling him some stuff, congratulating him too, but I think he knows. I don't think I have to say it. I think he knows.
Rev, I think we need to work on better communication skills as a...
I don't like... It's just, I don't want to go up to him and say it. It's, you know what? Hey, Dewey!
What?
I'm proud of you. You did well. I was wrong about you.
Is this a dare?
No.
She's doing out of the kindness of her heart.
Shouldn't you say thank you?
There's a prolonged pause.
Hello?
Thanks.
You're welcome. There, V. Happy?
I think V, it's actually chuckling, you are so adorable sometimes.
Adorable? That is not a word that's ever been used to describe me. Hot, yes. Scary, yes. Big, yes. Handsome, yes. Even beautiful, but adorable? No.
All of those words I used to, yes, you are so good at describing yourself. Why should I even bother?
Speaking of Moreau's, if that's where you're going, it's where I'm going too. And it's probably where the Myriad's gonna show his dog face next.
Yeah. And I think V's actually kind of clutching at her heart. She's been trying to put off and put a brave face on Scott and Nectus. The whole you have to follow your heart thing, this whole arc, this whole time in Kirtal, Scott and Nectus are go. And so she's just I think she, for the first time and since the Myriad said to go to Moreau's, is feeling them relax a little bit. She's just oh gosh, they are fighting so hard to go here. You're right. The Myriad might be there. Sievert might be there. Father might be there. Whoever he might be.
I'd like to cut that smug grin off his face, assuming he does have a face. Do dragons have faces? Well, if your father is there, I'll punch him for you if you want me to. I'd kill him for you, if you want me to.
I appreciate that. I've always loved when someone will punch someone for me, but, I think I would rather be the one to punch him with a fistful of fire first, at least. I want the first shot.
Makes sense. I'll do cleanup duty. Yeah, I bet your gods are really raring to go in UV, and I'm so proud of you for staying here and seeing this out until Dewey gets his shit together. You're a good friend.
I'm just trying to do better than I used to do.
I know the V back in the court might have cut her losses and run after the encounter with the Myriad, but I don't think you're that V anymore. You're my Visante.
Hearing her real name, I think V just sort of closes her eyes and like melts just a tiny bit. Well, Rev, Abiku is your keeper?
That's a long story. And I think like on Rev saying that, we like cut over to Abiku.
I am a mess. I think the like clouds on my cheeks are like full on raining. There's a shot of Abiku. I think for convenience, the trajectory Abiku has goes past like where Dewey is, and she just like throws her bag at Dewey, and she's like, "Watch, son." And she's like, casts that spell, her feet catch on fire, and starts like sprinting into the desert towards the like black sand. She does like not slow down enough for like Dewey to like Dewey can say something, but she's not. She's like, and you see her like sobbing.
Are you okay?
No. Watch, son, and she gives you her bag.
Whose son?
It doesn't stop.
Abiku, feet on fire, burning every strand of grass, right, that your feet make contact with on this like grassy, mossy hill. You stride right past Dewey and you just book it. Like farther, I think, let's say north. You just go north and north and north and north until like the encampment is like almost like a small, like a toy soldier's playground kind of like in the middle horizon. And you see, I think, you're at the top of a hill. It's just a rolling hill all around you, the open sunless sky, dark like clouds sort of like brimming on the horizon, and you see a puddle of black glass, black sand, let's say, at the bottom of like a series of grassy dunes that turn rocky, and just like a big swath, like an area just covered in this like black sand that you know from your memories used to be glass forest.
I start like striding towards it, and I'm like, so like out loud. So what? I came back to be alone? To be alone and help other people? To be alone and get pushed around to fight a dog? Why? And she's like, she's like going down into this pit. She is having a time.
You like stumble down what like the grassy slope that turns into kind of hard rock that turns into these like sharp little jagged black like pieces of sand until your feet like burning like sizzle against this, frankly, this like lake of black sand, and you're just wading through it ankle deep, eventually calf deep. If you go even deeper, it'll eventually like go up to your knees and thighs.
Yeah. And she's like, I am having a full-on like tantrum break. You've seen someone like on the beach like kicking at the water. She is like, what's the point? I help the Kagan feel better. I help Paragons get their god shards. I do everything I'm supposed to, and still I get told sorry I have to take care of my people. What the fuck is that about, huh?
As you're like saying this out loud, tears streaming down your face, your feet still on fire. I think the heat from your feet causes some of this black sand to glassify. That sounds too much like yassify. Causes some of this.
Yes, this glass real quick. You keep that scene.
No, don't keep that in, scene. This is a serious moment where Abika's having like a crisis that I love. You wade through this black sand, feet steaming. You hear like the sound of like your own flesh kind of sizzling against the sand, and you see like some of the sand like harden into like little spires of glass, like almost like your anger is like punching itself into reality through these like spikes, right, of like obsidian like shards like coming out by your feet as you wade deeper and deeper into the sand.
I think she's tired. I sit down. Abiku sits and just cries with like her face in her hands. Like, I am tired of just helping everyone. Who are you? Where did you go? Why? And she just sits and cries.
Roll religion.
Oh boy. 14.
Okay. As you sit in this black sand that goes up to like your waist maybe, and you're just crying in it, like these like spokes of like glass almost forming like a barrier like around you from like your burning feet. Entreating whoever might be out there for fucking answers, for a reason for why you're here, why you're breaking your heart for other people who can never return the love that you are full of. You hear a voice, carried faintly on this like breeze that's sort of kicking up a few motes of sand around you. The faintest voice. That's not the Raven Queen. It's not Galtanger. It is a voice both familiar and unfamiliar at once. It is a voice you've only heard really truly once before in Morose, when you were impaled on some dark creature in the chamber where you found Itbuza's god shard. This voice comes to you, Abiku, and it says, "North, my love. Return north."
It like startles and looks around.
Only by going to the place where it all ended can you understand how this all begins.
Okay. But if it is just more half memories and names on wind and scents, I don't know how much longer I can hold on to something that to me isn't real.
North, my love. North.
Stands up, dusts herself off, looks at the like glass she accidentally made. Okay, all right. And tries to just start like kicking it over. She's like, I can't leave these glass shards. I don't know if kids like. She's just like, I'm trying to like erase evidence of this kind of emotional outburst. Yeah, like she does not want anyone else. She had such an outburst.
Yeah, as you kick your foot back to maybe destroy one of the glass shards, you notice, before your foot makes contact, that the glass shard actually has shape. Kind of looks like a sprout, of like a sapling almost. Like a little like glass bark with like tiny little like leaves coming out that you've created here. Do you still destroy it?
No, she stops and she kneels down and can speak with plants.
Oh my god!
Hello? Are you real?
Huh.
Got him. Forgot I could do that, huh?
You got him. Do you say it in common?
I feel like speak with plants, it's like plant language, right?
Plant language,
like
okay.
It's like not like...
Okay.
I think other people listening, like it doesn't register as like a language.
Sure. Then the plant, this glass sapling sort of almost seems to wait, like the wind gusts through, and that's how it talks back to you. When the wind gusts through like the pores, I think, in the glass, almost like someone blowing right on the open rim of a cup, like wind chimes clinking together. And you just hear the same word repeated back to you, real, 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 real. Real?
Oh.
Real.
Okay, so you are real. That's good.
Good, 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 Good.
Oh, you're a baby.
Baby, 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 baby.
Okay, let's see what I left my bag. Oh my. Wait here. I will make sure you don't get crushed. And she's like goes to climb out.
As you start to book it out of the pit, you just hear all of these little saplings say, crushed, 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 crushed. Like the last word, they're just repeating it back to you as you book it out of the pit.
Yeah.
I think on that, I would love it if the three of you would tell me how you tie up your affairs in Kirtal, right? Like how we sort of like did a montage through like preparing for the hunter. I kind of want to tell me like what are the final things you do here before returning back to Dr. Luso's, right? Or catching up with the Dabathati crew.
I think because V can teleport the group. She has that ability. And so she's bringing the horses back to Balfa. It's just like spending like, a little bit more time with Shadow and being like, you were such a good horse. I'm going to miss you so much, friend.
You sure you don't want to keep her? Says Bafa, like in the stables, the smell of like horse manure and like sweet straw wafting through the air, like the dark slats of the stables descending like in several rows down to your right. Are you sure?
We're gonna be teleporting a bit, and I just don't think I'm gonna. I would love to.
She's all yours if you want it. I think Rev, who's next to you, just sort of leans in and says, doesn't Oka have that elk? Come on, who says he can't have a horse?
I think there's like a little smile on V, being like, well, I mean, if you insist, friend.
Please, I would be honored for one of my horses to be the mount of a paragon.
All right, come here, Shadow.
I do my best to do a horse noise. And Shadow like sort of like nuzzles toward you. Like nuzzling you for treats?
Yeah, I think V like happened to just have a few treats from her pocket still and like feeds them and is like stroking the mane and just like V is like nuzzled with the horse looking at Rev being like, I love Shadow so much.
And I love you, darling. Thank you. Rev says to, I think the dwarven stable master, as you're like distracted with the horse, Rev like slips them a couple of gold pieces.
I love that so much, yeah. And I think just like the final like image is just them walking and V's like holding not a leash.
Reins, not a leash. Reins for the horse.
It slipped from my mind. Yes, holding a reins and leading, and like you just see like V like sliding her hand into Rev's and like holding it and like putting her head on Rev's arm because Rev is so much taller that she doesn't get quite on the shoulder. But yeah.
Yes. We see the two of you and your horse like being led through the war encampment, heading toward the rendezvous point for Abiku and Dewey. But Abiku and Dewey, before we get there, Abiku, tell us how you're wrapping up the rest of your time here in Kirtal.
I think the next day after the tree incident, she finds the Kagan. Very, like, when she's, like, doing, like, she's, like, walking around camp or something, and she's, like, very official. She just wants to alert her about the new forest sprouting, because it seems very important.
What? A glass forest?
Yes, so as I let you know from my studies, there used to be glass forests throughout the land here, and it seems one of them has returned. It must be because Galtenga is so happy with your leadership.
Well, yes, of course. I think this conversation's happening as she's overseeing some training at like the archery range, right? And all the soldiers are like doing their best in front of the Kagan, right? Like, and she's like walking down the range, right? As you're talking, she's like pacing up and down, right? There's a couple of like liaisons around and like generals and lieutenants attending to her. So you're kind of walking, her hands are clasped behind her back, straight as a rod. All right, noted. I'll make sure to designate it as a protected area. So any wandering wild herds won't trample over it and any of our soldiers don't accidentally cut it down without recognizing what it is.
Yes, of course, it must be very important. They are very babies, so I don't know how long it'll take for them to grow. I don't know how fast magical glass from a god grows, but I'm sure she'll let you know on your pilgrimage.
I'll have some of my arcane botanists take a look at it. Thanks for bringing this to my attention, Ishtar.
Yes, you are welcome, Kagan. I wish you a good day. And she'll salute. And
Doctor frowns at that as you salute her because you've never done that before.
I'm sorry, I don't know how this works.
Salute is fine, and she salutes back at you.
And she'll leave.
As you turn to leave, she actually says, Abiku?
She doesn't turn around, but she just stops.
You're okay, right? With how we ended things? It was mutual?
Turns around, smiles. Yes, I told you I was fine the day of.
Okay. Another me would have just been an asshole and let it go, but you, while it lasted, you were one of my favorites.
I am glad that I am on your list and that I'm one of the good ones. That's good to know. I appreciate you too, and if I can ever be of service to you, please let me know.
Will do. And you better be off now.
Yes, I must get going. I'll see you, I guess, at the end of the world. And she leaves.
Take care, Abiku. She calls after you, right, as you turn and go.
Mm-hmm.
Like hiding your true feelings as you run off. So I think that's like sort of the last image we see of Abiku individually, right? As like the days pass, right? And you tie things up with the Kagan and you go to meet V, Rev, and Dewey at the rendezvous point, I think at the main gate. But before we get there, Dewey, how are you spending your final days here at the camp?
Dewey has gone back to find the smithy who was so kind to help him destroy all of his god jars and then help him create a good one.
You hear the clang, clang, clang of metal in like the blacksmith's area, and like the hot heat of the furnace, like of these like big like huts of clay with like a big glowing like crimson red interiors of like various smithies working on anvils, right? Like with the pizza paddles, right? With like various like armor and gauntlets, right? And boots and whatnot in and out of various ovens. And you wind through all of this, right? All the tools and the workbenches and like leather tanning stations to find this big woman, right? Who had helped you make the god jar.
He sort of ducks underneath. I think she's like facing down and she's got a mask on, and he kind of like ducks down and like waves.
She like puts her like metal like heat shield mask up, right, and like puts down I think like the sword that she was forging and hammering at, turns her big scarred face onto you. Paragon of Galtanger, we've all heard the Kagan's proclamation. Turns out the business you were on was actually quite legitimate. If you told me that what you were trying to do was capture the god shard of Galtanger, I would have made you a better jar.
This one worked out fine, and
what the hell did you do to it? What are those cracks? What are those? My baby!
I didn't do it. I mean, it exploded and I didn't make it explode.
It exploded?
Like, yeah.
You exploded my jar?
I didn't. Like I said, I didn't do it. Galtanger did it.
Well, hold on. Her brilliance, shining star of the morning sky, shattered my jar?
I think so.
I'm never gonna let the guys live this down. Well, whew, look at that, it's beautiful. The cracks make it prettier.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I wanted to ask you for one more favor.
Of course, anything for the Paragon of Galtanger.
I lost my glasses. I think it might have had to do with this whole transformation. Like, I don't know where.
Oh, right, you look completely different. I didn't even notice. I mean, the way you carry yourself is still the same. So I thought, oh wow, look at your feathers. And without asking for permission, she lifts up your wing. Look at these feathers. They look like a dark night sky with the stars, as if the stars were back. You look pretty.
Thanks. Yeah, so the glasses disappeared, I think, and
You want me to make you a new pair?
Yeah, I don't need them to see, per se. But I would
Paragon,
love it if...
Are you sure you want glasses again? Because you looked pretty good without them. I mean, with the glasses, you kind of look, I mean, no offense, you kind of look like a bullyable nerd. Without them, and in this new, I guess, makeup, costume, you look pretty cool. You look like you look like you could be a hero.
Yeah, I got a whole makeover. But it's not like for me. I just like, you see this weird like janky eye I've got now? It's kind of like...
Wow, what is that, a contact?
No. No, it's the transformation, remember?
Oh, I didn't put 2 and 2 together. Oh, why didn't you say that earlier? You look great. That's beautiful. You look, mwah. You look great.
I mean, you don't have to pretend. I mean, it's kind of
no.
like
You
scary,
actually, you
right?
genuinely look much better than you did before. Much, like
Okay,
100,
well, that
1,000. Right.
I just like, I have a kid and I haven't seen her in a long time, and I'm kind of afraid that she'll be scared of the creepy eye, the different eyes.
Okay. You want the glasses to make you look approachable. Yeah, like a dad.
Do I not already? Just like, if they could like hide like sunglasses, but only like some of the time. Like if I could flip that on and off.
I know just the thing. And we cut to, like, after, like, several hours of welding and, like, finicking, the same blacksmith, like, handing you, like, a set of glasses, with, I think, like, the shade-changing tint on the glass that allows you to toggle it on and off for sunglasses or not sunglasses. And at that point, we cut to the 4 of you reconvening at the main gate of, I think, the war camp, where there's, like, a group of Kyrians seeing you off, including the Kagan. Right, like with your horse, right, with V readying the teleportation sigil. You still do have to, I think, cross back through the chasm, because there isn't a teleportation sigil to go to Kirtal, because Kirtal's, like, full of nomadic peoples. So V, however, can teleport all of you, like, a distance closer to the chasm. And I think similar to the welcoming party that, like, helped to lead you through the chasm toward Kirtal, Selim Shai is leading, like, the goodbye party to help, like, guide you through the chasm again the other way.
So I guess this is time to get back and get to it, yeah?
Yeah, we've got to go back to Dr. O, catch up everything that happened. Hopefully the other party will be back.
Is it going to be as weird as that dinner?
Who knows, Abiku? What do I look like, a fortune teller?
A little bit.
Nah, it'll be fine.
It couldn't get worse, right?
Yeah, we got all of our drama out at the party last time.
That's good.
Surely there's no drama to be had if we all reconvene, right? We'll catch up. I wanna, what's their names? Duran and Gentle. I wanna ask them to take me to Moreau's.
Do you think Gentle found his dog?
We'll find out. Who knows? Hopefully they just got that dog. Maybe hopefully Vanash got put to the right paragon and things will be just perfect.
That would be good. I am kind of over being here, and Abika kind of looks back at the Kagan.
Yeah, the Kagan's, like, arms are crossed over, like, her, like, half plate, right, with, like, some hide and fur coming out from it, and she's, like, nodding as all of you are, like, getting on your horses, like, getting ready to leave. Nods in your direction.
Yeah, I am good.
Rev leans into you, Abiku, and says, "What happened between the two of you? I thought you were, you know..."
Oh, you know, she just has other things to worry about, you know. She has a lot going on.
Right. And Rev, like, I think sympathetically pats you on the shoulder, Abiku, like with like pity in her face a little bit, which is not a great look to receive from anyone, right? Especially in this context.
Well, it is not a big deal. It was just we just hung out for a little bit. It is not. Right. I am fine.
Okay. All right. If you say so, Abiku. If you say so.
It was mutual. We just talked about it again.
Oh, great. Okay. Good. I'm glad it was mutual.
There's Glass Forest is coming back. That's a thing.
Huh?
Oh, okay. So when I was alive,
and I think maybe like on that, right? Like the scene peters out, right? Like as all of you like on Shadow and like on foot, like start walking back toward the chasm, right? With like the Kyrian riders like guiding you, like talk to a Kagan at like the gate, like her hands clasped behind her back, straight back, like looking at your party as you're leaving, right? Dewey, I think our final vision is of you, like maybe looking confused at Abiku as Abiku goes on about the forest, right? With like the god jar strapped to your waist, right? Your sash fluttering in the wind, beautiful, like dark blue, like ocean blue feathers, like ruffling, your face full of a promise of what is to come in the future. And as that scene cuts, goes to black, we slowly open up the scene again on a very different location. An office. There are no windows in this office, only a single door. And almost every single square inch of this office has been painted, slathered, I think, in red and black ink, or is that blood? Sigils of an eye. And then there's a noise like as a rift in the air in the middle of this office tears open, like someone dragging a knife through the flesh of the weave and ripping open a wound, I think, in the magic itself. And a portal tears open in the middle of this office, like bleeding power, leeching this empty presence, this vacuous enmity out into the now, and out tumbling from this black gash, right? I think in the fabric of Andake, tumbling out of the nothing plane. We see a man's form like hit the ground, the rug of this office, and roll for a little bit. And then I think the gash seals back up. And we see Adam pick his head up from the rug, right? His like blonde hair kind of limp in front of his face. He looks kind of like fucked up. Like he's been through like a fight. There's like, he's bloodied, he's bruised. Like his suit jacket is all like ripped up, like with the emerald like coloring of the chrysalis, right? And he like wipes some blood off of his mouth, right? And starts to like slowly pick himself up, like grabbing onto like a nearby desk to help like raise him. And the woman behind the desk raises her head to address him. This entire time, she's been just working at the desk, even when the gash to the empty plane ripped open and he tumbled out. She was just writing something. She looks up at Adam, as Adam just, and he pauses as he makes eye contact with Lilith. And Lilith, we see, is this wraith of a woman, wispy, like she's a shadow of a shadow almost, with pale skin that almost looks translucent from how sallow and tired the skin itself looks. She has this blonde hair like Adam's, but unlike Adam's, it's almost like pale, like someone ran sunlight through a copier multiple times, right? Or like strained it through some sort of press. She has this like long kind of like limpid, almost ghost white blonde hair that just sort of like, it's kind of greasy and just like falls in front of her face. And we see her eyes are like the most tired eyes you've ever fucking seen. Like, they remind, I think, our viewers of Dr. Ting's eyes back in Arc 2, just how tired he looked, right? With like these dark circles underneath them and these like pale, like baby blue, watery kind of like irises. Lilith, dressed in a suit crisper than Adam's, looks up. Adam, I've been expecting you. You're late. And Adam sort of pushes himself off from the desk and like cleans up the blood and the bruises from his face. Lilith, it's good to see you, as always. I was tying up business in Dabathati. I'm glad you're here now. There are a lot of preparations to be made at the research facility for Adolin. And on that, we end Arc 5. So everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to Arc 5 of Transplanar RPG. I have been Connie, your GM and creative producer. My pronouns are they, he, and she. You can find me on TikTok, Itch, and Twitter at ByConnieChang. That's BYCONNIECHANG. We've got to pass along introductions over here to Erica.
Hi, everybody. I'm Erica. She, her pronouns. I played V. Actually apologized a few times. Growth, what? Not sure. So, and you can find me at Erica Newgirl everywhere I exist on the interwebs. Come hang out with me on Twitch sometimes. I swear it'll be a fun time. Max?
Hey, I'm Max. My pronouns are they, them. I play Dewey Hot Boy Quirk. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok at StarchMonger. I'll pass to Austin.
Dewey Hot Boy Quirk.
Hot
Why was I
boy.
drinking water when he said that? I like almost choked.
It's the way you said hot boy. I'm Austin. My pronouns are he, they, she. You can find you. That really got. I just got done playing a Biku emotional breakdown Ishtar. And you can find me on Twitter at Sailor Austin. That's at Sailor SCT Austin. Find me on Twitter. I do stuff. I don't know what I do right now because that was really funny.
Yeah. Well, that's a wrap. That's Arc 5, folks. Thank you all so much for tuning in. What a blast. What a lore drop. Transplanar, campaign talk, lore. Go, my little Transplanar fans. Go write things for me because I always get very happy when people theorize in the campaign chatter. Love you all so much. We're going to be rating someone awesome, I'm sure. Say we're coming from the Transplanar Arc 5 finale. If you like their stuff, toss them a follow. Even if you can't stay, say Transplanar sent you, rep Transplanar in chat, and then peace out if you have to. We love you all so much. We stream Saturdays at this time, 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. We might be taking a break. We might not be. Keep your eyes peeled on our social media about when our next stream's going to be. It's going to be the Interlude. Really, really cool Arc 5 Interlude is in the works with some really awesome guest stars. Keep your ears peeled for that. We love you so much. Bijou for the last time for this arc. Bye-bye, friends.
Dum, de, dum.